In this video, I modify a rotating engine stand, and you pretty much can do the same procedure on one that's not a rotating one to make it easy to turn the engine upside down.
Yeah, and this engine stand's already the type with the gearbox on it, but it's no good. You put just a little bit of weight on it, and you have to push on that crank as hard as you possibly can. It feels like the gears are just grinding, and it was like that ever since it was brand new. Summit Racing even sent me another gearbox, but it does the same thing, and I can't see anything actually wrong inside there, so I'm going to modify this with another type of gearbox. Yeah, so this shaft is a big truck S-cam for the rear for the brakes, and this is a brake adjuster, and these are two 1.5-inch pillow block bearings that I got on Amazon, and that's what I'm going to use for the gearbox. And you can basically take any engine stand and turn it into a rotating one like this by welding a plate on the top and putting these bearings on it and the shaft and the gearbox. So it doesn't have to be one that already has a gearbox on it. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is take that gearbox off. I might not actually have to use those bearings on there. I might be able to just put the shaft through it without doing that. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of grease in there. So it looks like it's just a snap ring and a nut, and then these Allen bolts, and then it comes off of there. So I can probably use the original piece here where it spins a hunt and not have to cut the whole top off. Yeah, so this fits through here, but it's about 80 thousandths too small. So I could either make bushings in here, or maybe I'll weld the shaft up and stick it in the lathe and turn it back down to the right size. And I think that'd be a better way to go than to cut this whole top off and put pillow block bearings on here. Yeah, I just took and went over this again. There was a bunch of low spots, but you don't have to get every single spot out of here when you do this. I cut these ears off of here. When I'm done, I'm going to cut this off right about here after everything fits in there perfect. Yeah, you don't want to cut that off now or it won't go in. I can't use the live center in it because it's already got the hole drilled in the end. Yeah, and I'm going to drill through that with an 1.5-inch hole saw. And this needs to go about 65 thousandths bigger than an 1.5 inch, but normally with these hole saws, the hole's a little bit bigger anyways. Yeah, I got this piece cut off the way I want it. Now I can just set it in there and weld it. Yeah, and it'll just get welded on like that. Yeah, and I'm also going to make a spacer to go in there. Yeah, it gives it more clearance here for these bolts. It's pretty close if you pull this all the way in. Yeah, I need to go maybe about 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, so I got it welded on there. So next I need to make that spacer. Yeah, here's a spacer I just made on the lathe. I probably should have made 2 of them. I also need a locking collar out on this end so the shaft doesn't just slide out. Yeah, so now I'll make that locking collar that goes out here, and this is the smaller part of the shaft, so it's 1.5 inches in diameter. Yeah, so I got that locking collar made and it's on there. I drilled into the shaft just a tiny little bit so that it can't slide out. Yeah, so what I need to do now is make a piece out here for this to attach to, which should be pretty simple. Yeah, and this is what I'll weld on there. It's some 2-inch by 3-inch rectangular tube. I just happen to have this piece, and it's a 1/4 inch thick. I'll weld a cap on the end, and I'll drill a hole through there and weld a nut on the other side, and that's what it'll be attached to. Yeah, so this is the piece I just made. Now I just have to weld it on, and that'll hold that brake adjuster from turning. Yeah, so I got this piece welded on. Now I want to take, this brake adjuster has this locking piece, and since this has got a worm gear, it's not going to turn on its own. What I want to do is take a Dremel tool and cut this piece off of here. This would make it hard to use that like that. Yeah, and with the Dremel tool, I was able to grind that lock away. It wasn't real easy to do. Yeah, it takes 11 cranks to make the engine go completely upside down. So now what I want to do, so I got this crank off the original gearbox, and I want to weld a socket to it. Yeah, and by grinding this square first, it just makes it much easier to get it welded on there straight. And it seems to work pretty easy. I think the only thing I need now is someplace to put this crank when I'm not using it on here. Yeah, I just welded a piece of 3/4 inch pipe on there, and I can stick this handle here when I'm not using it.